वागीशं सौरं च सरस्वतीं जनकं जनत्रीं च शास्त्रादौ प्रणमाम्यहम्. Namaste to everyone, respected my guru, Vaidya Kamlesh Kumar Sharma sir, my seniors, my guide, all speakers and all the audience on the virtual platform. The topic which I am going to share is that importance of Ayurveda fundamentals in acceptance of yoga practice in ethical way. So we all know that the concept of yoga, or many concepts in the yoga, are dispersed. It's not available in the single platform. Some things are explained in the Geranda Samhita, some were in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, and some were in the Hatha Yoga Shiva Samhita. There are various textbooks are there which elaborates about the yoga. And even most of the concepts, while elaborating, even especially in Hatha Yoga Pradipika, we will come across the verse like Hatam Vidyam Param Gaupyam. Hatha Vidya Param Gaupyam Yoginam Siddhimishyati. That is, we are supposed to keep it as Gaupya, not only in Hatha Yoga, even in Geranda Samhita, while elaborating the lots of practices like Pranayama and Kumbhakas, and even while elaborating the concepts of asanas, they mentioned this term, Gaupyam, Gaupyam, Gaupyam. That is, we are supposed to maintain the secrecy. So when many things are kept in secrecy, obviously how we can render the concept, how we can render the concept of practice of yoga to the public or to the health seekers genuinely. So at that time, I feel that we need to have the fundamentals, we need to have the clarification under the fundamental practice, so that you can get from the your Ayurveda science. As Arpan sir said that yoga and Ayurveda are the sister concerned science. Ultimately, most of the things which are not elaborated in the yogic science, that can be borrowed from the Ayurveda. Ayurveda will help you to lay down the very good fundamental to practice yoga in an acceptable way, because the yoga text doesn't explain much about the what are the ethical things are supposed to be kept in mind while practicing yoga. That is the reason most of the people not focusing on these things. That is ignored, or sometimes that is not elaborated in the yogic science. So the people are thinking that as a non-rationalized. It's not like that. So ultimately, we need to accept everything in a fundamental way. There is a beautiful verse from the Ayurveda: Sukartam sarvabhutanam mata sarva pravurtaya sukam dharmatta vinachya bhavati tato dharmo paro bhavet. So what they want to say is that if you want to get happiness with any activities, that is only possible when you abide to the dharma. That is, every individual perform his activities. Whether if you are performing yoga, ultimately with expectations we are doing the yoga. It may be physical health, or it may be psychological health. So every activity is done with the expectations. So if you want to get that expected result, you are supposed to abide to the dharma. Dharma is not related to any religion. Here dharma here refers to the fundamentals. If you are if you are walking on the street, if you are riding the car in the street, so if you want to be safe, ultimately you are supposed to accept the rules and regulations according to the traffic rules. Then you will be safe. In the same way, if you want to get the good result, accepted result, ultimately you are supposed to abide to the fundamentals. That fundamentals, lots of the fundamentals are not clarified in the yogic science. That clarification you can draw from the Ayurveda science. So again, as again Arpan sir said, these are the system concerned sciences. So there is a innate relationship between the Ayurveda and yoga. While yoga in Arpan sir started his talk with the quotation that yogena chittasya padena vacha malam sharirasya tu vaidikena yopakarotam pravaram munina patanjalim pranjalim ranatosmin. Here what they want to say is that whenever there is a psychological imbalance, at that time you are supposed to accept the yogic science. Whenever there is a physical impairments, then you are supposed to accept the Vaidika Shastra. Same verse, even it is there in the Ayurveda, especially Charaka Sutra, first chapter, Sutra Sthana, first chapter, first tika. Patanjalim Mahabhashi Charaka Prati Samskrutam Manovak Kaya Doshanam Hartya Aipate Namaha. Here also Charakacharya says that whenever there is an impairment of the mana, you are supposed to accept the yogic science. So ultimately what I want to say is that there is a innate relationship between the Ayurveda and yoga. So when it comes to the yoga acceptability, you are supposed to accept lots of fundamentals which are explained in the Ayurveda Shastra. And most of the time we come across the bright side of the yoga. When it comes to the yogic practice, most of the people will tantrum that yoga has all round, it acts as a all round personality development. And people will say that when there is no any side effects, but it is not so. Every coin has a two side. In the same way, yoga is also has a two sides. One is bright side and dark side. People are orchestrating the bright side of the yoga, but dark side of the yoga is nowhere explained or nowhere exhibited, because of this one, people are thinking that yoga is the science which can be accepted by everyone, which can be practiced by everyone. It is not like, because why the people are not able to focus much on the disadvantage of the yoga, because that may be like people are not aware of writing the scientific paper regarding the ill effect of the yoga. If they write, ultimately they feel that our studio may not run. So these are some of the things which are inhibiting the people not to expose the dark side of the yoga. So, and when I searched lots of research work regarding the adverse effect of the yoga, I came to know many few articles which has showed that there is lots of disadvantage. So that consequences, why disadvantages, why it's happening in yoga. So they say that most of the consequences or disadvantages are ill effects because of yoga. What's happening, that is all because of instructor flaw, or it may be the practitioner law, because instructor don't know how to prepare the body. He don't guide all the health seekers how to prepare his body before he perform the yoga. He don't explain all those things. And even practitioners may also don't follow the ethical fundamentals which are explained in the yogic science and Ayurveda science. Because of these things, people are end up with the lots of complication. So that is the reason, if you want to practice yoga in an ethical way, then you need to understand the fundamentals of yoga through Ayurveda, because Ayurveda says that Prakriti is something that Prakritir Nam Janma Marana Antarala Bhavini. That is Garbha Krante Samaye Swa Karana Udrego Janitaho Nirvikara Dosha Sthiti is Prakriti. That is, Prakriti is the innate attribute of each and every individual, which will start functioning from the time of union of sperm and the ovum. So ultimately, Prakriti is the one of the things which continuously move with the each and every individual. So when it comes to the Prakriti, Ayurveda says that whenever you are advising any ahara, vihara, you are supposed to see the Prakriti. That is, Deshakala Atmaguna Vipritanami Karmanam Ahar Vikaranam Samyak. So what they want to say is that if you want to remain healthy, any activity, whether it is activity concerned to the ahara or vihara, that should be according to the Desha, Kala and Atmaguna. Atmaguna is nothing but the Prakriti. So Ayurveda says that if you are practicing yoga, yoga is the kind of vihara. So if you are accepting the vihara like yogas, then even you should give more emphasis to the Prakriti. This thing is totally nowhere explained by the yoga specialist. I feel that we are missing this logic. So if you advise the yoga, if you plan out the yoga modules according to the Prakriti, that will help to give the good result by the yoga practice. Because Ayurveda says that while explaining the Prakriti, Vatalasya Vata Prakopani Anya Upaseva Manasya Kshipram Vatam Prakopam Apadyate. That is, if the Vata Prakriti person, if he excessively indulge in the ahara and vihara which vitiate the Vata dosha, in among those person, there will be instantaneously Prakop of the Vata dosha. In the same way, Pitta Prakriti person, if he accept the Pitta vitiating ahara vihara, again Pitta vitiation will be there. That is the reason. So yoga being a vihara, whenever it comes to the practice, even we should give more emphasis to the Prakriti. According to the Prakriti, if you assess the things and if you advise, then it is going to help your body and mind. And even we know that Ayurveda much says about the personalized medicine. Ayurveda is considered as the personalized medicine. In the same way, yoga is also a personalized medicine. It is not a generalized one. Ayurveda says that yoga masat yo vidya desha kalopa bodhitaha Purusham Vikshaya Gayam Bishop Uttamam. That is, whenever you are advising any kind of medications, any kind of ahara viharas, every individual are supposed to be examined, and later you are supposed to cater the Ayurveda. In the same way, yoga also, because nowadays people are making the 1,000 people sit in front of the dais, and one people is advising to practice the Kapalabhati all together. So this is not the way of explanation, because if you indulge in such activities, one or other way you may end up with the complications. So yoga in the same way how Ayurveda is individualistic, yoga should be, and yoga is also individualistic science. And even you might be seen that in yoga there are lots of concepts which are elaborated, which are mimicking with the Ayurveda. Ayurveda accepts the Panchamabhuta Siddhanta, even yoga also accepts. Yoga accepts the Tridosha Siddhanta, Saptadhatu Siddhantas, even Ayurveda also elaborate. And whereas while explaining the Shatkriyas, there is a reference like Medo Shleshmo Adhikaho Purva Shatkarmani Samacharet. That is, Shatkarmas are those things which are supposed to be advised to those person who are Medasvi person who is Shleshmadika. So what is Medasvi? What is Shleshmadika? There is no any clear-cut explanation in the yoga. So that concept are supposed to be derived from the Ayurveda fundamentals. In the same way, while explaining the effects of Dautikri, there is a beautiful explanation like Kasa Shwasa Pliha Kustam Kafarogascha Vimshati Dautir Karma Prayojate. That is, in 20 types of kapha doshas, Dauti karma is indicated. Then, but what is kapha dosha, what is kasa, what is shwasha, this kind of detail is not nowhere mentioned in the yogic science. That concept are supposed to be derived from the yoga, because kasa, again there are vata jakasa, pitta jakasa, kapha jakasa. In the same way, various types of shwasa rogas are there. In which kasa, in which shwasa, which kind of yogasanas are supposed to be advised, that concept is not advised in the yoga. So that is advised in the Ayurveda. So those concepts are supposed to be accepted, then you are supposed to advise. And even while practicing the yoga, any kind of yogic asana, like prerequisites are not mentioned, and people are not explaining about how to prepare your mind and body before you practice the yoga. Because we all know that if you don't have the good sleep, next day you may not be able to practice the yogasana appropriately, because Ayurveda, while explaining the asana, they says that sharira chesta yacha ishtam sthairartha balavardhanam. So Ayurveda also says that while explaining the vyayama, you should perform the vyayama when there is the ishta of mana. In the same way, when you are practicing the yoga, even there should be a ishta of the mana, then only you are going to get the required benefit by the yoga. So here, to get the ishtatva of the mana, what we can do, what we are supposed to do, these kind of knowledge is not in clear-cut way mentioned in the yogic science, that are explained in the Ayurveda. Ayurveda says that if the person is having good sleep, he will be able to perform all sort of physical activities. There is a direct reference. In the same way, so whenever if you advise any person to practice the yoga, make the person to have a good sleep. If they want to have a good sleep, then what are the remedies and what are the modalities they are supposed to use? That kind of concepts are explained very well in the Ayurveda. Ayurveda says that if you want to have a good sleep, you are supposed to have a twice a day meal. So this concept, yoga people are preferably yoga practitioners, they won't explain. That is Kamlesh sir, they mentioned about the Satvika Ahara. Satvika Ahara, indirectly even it says that you are supposed to go for Satvika Ahara. You are supposed to have the twice a day meal. Then what should be the time of meal at the evening? Ayurveda says that Dvitiya Bhojanam Mardha Chaturtha Praharopari. It should be between 7 to 8 p.m. If you have meal at that time, then obviously you are going to get the good sleep. And even Ayurveda says that Abhyangam Acharet Nityam Sa Jara Shramavataha. Abhyanga is mandatory, and if you are not able to practice massage regularly, at least you should go for Shirashravana Padeshu Visheshana Shiliyat. At bedtime, if you go for Pada Abhyanga, that will also induce us the good sleep. And even Ayurveda says that like Vasarante Pibet Paya. Bhojanante pibet takram, vasarante pibet paya. That is at the after your dinner, you are supposed to drink the milk. Milk is the rich source of tryptophan, which will induce us the good sleep. So these are this, and even Ayurveda says about the practice of Pratimarshana at the evening. If you go for practicing Pratimarshana, that will also induce us the good sleep. So these are some of the fundamentals. If you advise every individuals before they practice the yogasanas, then if they practice these things, they will get the sufficient good sleep. If they are having good sleep, then obviously next day there will be a mana ishta to practice the pranayama. In such a way, there are lots of things, and on the day of practice and how you are supposed to prepare your body, again there are lots of rules and regulations. With the help of Ayurveda fundamentals, because of time constraint, I may not be able to explain all those things, but ultimately what I want to say is that yoga and science are the sister concerns. Yoga and Ayurveda are the sister concern science. So fundamentals of yogic practice are well explained in the Ayurveda. We are supposed to imbibe those things, and we are supposed to advise each and every health seekers who want to practice the yoga. So ultimately, yoga is not the generalized, or it is a OTC medicine. It is not. There is no any thumb rule to say that yoga practice is generalized. No, it is a individualistic. You are supposed to assess mind and body. Prakriti should be assessed. Vyadhi should be assessed, and accordingly, which kind of asanas, which kind of pranayama, which kind of shatkriyas are supposed to be advised. Accordingly, you should advise. Then only you are going to get your accepted results. So ultimately, yoga, to practice the yoga, Ayurveda act as a fundamental. So by these few words, I would like to conclude my talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you.